Refused to attend our daughter's wedding because her brother was having a bad mental health day and needed us more. Now she's changed her name, won't return our calls, and her husband tells people her parents died. Everyone thinks we're monsters. I'm writing this because I need people to understand what actually happened. My wife Linda and I have been married for 32 years, and we raised 2 children, our son Marcus and our daughter Emily. Everything fell apart 2 years ago, and I still don't fully understand how we got here. Marcus has always been sensitive. Even as a toddler, he'd cry when other kids played too rough, needed extra reassurance before school, struggled with changes to routine. We worked with therapists starting when he was 7. By high school, he'd been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and depression. College was rough, he came home after 1 semester, couldn't handle the pressure. He lived with us while attending community college, then got a job doing IT support at a local hospital. Emily was different. Independent from the start, never asked for help with homework, made her own lunch by age 8, had her own friend group. She seemed to thrive without much parenting. Looking back, maybe that was the problem. Maybe she learned too early that asking for help wouldn't get her anywhere. The wedding was scheduled for October 15th. Emily had been planning it for nearly a year. She'd gotten engaged to David the previous November, right after Thanksgiving. David's a good man, works as a civil engineer, steady income, treats Emily well from what we could see. They'd been dating for 3 years. We liked him fine, though he always seemed a bit distant with us. Polite, but distant. The week before the wedding, Marcus had what he called an episode. He'd been doing well for months, had even started dating someone he met through a gaming group. Then she broke things off abruptly, and Marcus spiraled. He stopped going to work, barely ate, spent entire days in his room. Linda and I were worried, genuinely worried. His therapist had moved to another state 2 months earlier, and Marcus hadn't found a new one yet. Emily called on Wednesday, 5 days before the wedding. She wanted to confirm we'd be at the rehearsal dinner on Friday. Of course, I told her. We'll be there. And the wedding on Saturday? Emily, we've had it on the calendar for a year. She paused. I just needed to hear you say it. Marcus isn't coming, right? He's not feeling up to it. But your mother and I will be there. Okay. Another pause. Dad, this is really important to me. I need you both there. The whole day. We will be. I promise. Thursday night, Marcus didn't come down for dinner. Linda took food up to his room and came back down 20 minutes later, crying. She said he'd talked about not wanting to be here anymore. Not explicitly saying he'd hurt himself, but implying it. The kind of vague statements that leave you terrified and helpless. We stayed up with him until 3 in the morning, just talking, making sure he wasn't alone. He seemed better by the time we all went to bed. Linda slept on the couch outside his room, just to be safe. Friday morning, the day of the rehearsal dinner, Marcus seemed stable. Quiet, but stable. Linda and I discussed whether we should still go. We decided one of us would stay home while the other attended the rehearsal. Linda volunteered to stay. I'd go, represent both of us, explain the situation to Emily privately. I called Emily at 10. Mom's not feeling well, I said. But I'll be there tonight. What's wrong with her? Stomach bug. Nothing serious, but she doesn't want to risk getting anyone sick right before the wedding. Dad, she seemed fine on Sunday when we dropped off the final head count. It came on suddenly. These things do. Emily went quiet. Then, this is about Marcus, isn't it? Your mother's sick, Emily. You're lying to me. You're staying home with Marcus. That's not. I can always tell when you're lying. Your voice gets higher. It's been that way since I was 10. I didn't know what to say. She'd caught me. I need you there, Emily said, her voice tight. Both of you. This is my rehearsal dinner. I'll be there. Your mother will be there tomorrow for the actual wedding. That's what matters most. Dad, please. Emily, your brother is going through something right now. We can't just leave him alone. He's 30 years old. He's struggling. He's always struggling. Her voice cracked. I have been planning this wedding for a year. 1 year. I asked you to save the date 13 months ago. I've worked overtime to pay for things because you and Mom said you couldn't contribute much because Marcus's therapy bills were high. I understood. I didn't complain. I just need you both there for 1 weekend. 2 days. 48 hours. And we will be there for the wedding tomorrow. That's the important day. The rehearsal is important. The dinner is important. It's all important. To me. Emily, be reasonable. She hung up. I attended the rehearsal dinner alone. Emily barely looked at me. David's parents kept asking where Linda was, and I stuck to the stomach bug story. Emily's maid of honor, her college roommate Jennifer, pulled me aside at one point. Is everything okay? She asked. Just some family stress. It'll be fine tomorrow. Emily seems really upset. She'll get over it. It's just pre-wedding jitters. Jennifer gave me a look I couldn't quite read. I hope you're right. I drove home around 10, feeling uneasy but telling myself Emily would calm down overnight. Linda was still awake, sitting in the living room with a mug of tea. How was it? She asked. Tense. Emily's angry. She'll forgive us. She always does. That was true. Emily had always been the easy one. Whenever we'd missed her events because of Marcus's needs, and there had been a few over the years, I'll admit, she'd been understanding. A track meet in high school when Marcus had a panic attack the morning of. Her college graduation party because Marcus was having a particularly bad week. A few birthdays. She'd always said she understood, that family comes first, that Marcus needed us more. Saturday morning arrived. Marcus seemed better. Not great, but better. He'd slept through the night, eaten breakfast, even showered. Linda and I discussed our options. He seems stable, Linda said. Maybe we can both go. What if something happens while we're gone? It's just a few hours. The wedding starts at 2, reception ends around 6. We'd be home by 7. We went upstairs to talk to Marcus. He was at his computer, doing something with spreadsheets for work he'd been neglecting. Your sister's getting married today, Linda said. I know. How are you feeling? Marcus shrugged. Same as yesterday. Do you think you'd be okay if we went? Just for a few hours? He turned to look at us. His eyes were red-rimmed, but not from recent crying. Just tired. You should go. It's Emily's wedding. We want to make sure you're okay first, I said. I'm fine. Go. Linda and I went back downstairs. We started getting dressed around noon. I put on my suit, Linda wore the navy dress she'd bought specifically for the occasion. We were in our bedroom when we heard a crash from upstairs. We ran up. Marcus had knocked over his desk lamp, and he was sitting on the floor, breathing rapidly, hands shaking. Can't do this, he was saying. Can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. Linda knelt beside him. Marcus, sweetheart, what happened? Tried to call Sarah. To apologize. She blocked my number. I'm blocked. She blocked me. Sarah was the ex-girlfriend. The one who'd triggered this whole episode. It's okay, Linda said, pulling him close. It's okay, you don't need her. I checked my watch. 1:15. The wedding started at 2. The venue was 40 minutes away. Linda, we need to go soon. She looked up at me. We can't leave him like this. He was fine 5 minutes ago. He's having a panic attack, Robert. Look at him. Marcus was crying now, full on sobbing into Linda's shoulder. She held him, rocking slightly, making soothing sounds. Linda, Emily's wedding starts in 45 minutes. I know what time it is. We need to leave. Now. Or we won't make it. Go without me. She wants both of us there. Then we'll both miss it. I'm not leaving Marcus like this. I stared at my wife, at my son collapsed on the floor, at my watch ticking away. Every instinct told me this was wrong, but Linda had already made her choice. Marcus was gasping for air, completely lost in his panic. If I left, I'd be leaving Linda to handle it alone. I'll call Emily, I said. Explain what's happening. She'll understand, Linda said. I called Emily. It went to voicemail. I tried 3 more times. Voicemail every time. I texted her, Marcus having emergency. Can't make wedding. So sorry. Love you. Linda and I spent the next 2 hours with Marcus. By 3 o'clock, he'd calmed down significantly. By 4, he was apologizing, saying we should have gone, he'd be fine. By 5, he was back at his computer, acting like nothing had happened. You should have left, he said. We couldn't leave you like that, Linda told him. It was just a panic attack. I've had hundreds of them. You've never had one that severe, I said. Marcus looked at me with an expression I still can't quite describe. Guilt, maybe. Or shame. You missed Emily's wedding. She'll understand. Will she? I tried calling Emily again that evening. Voicemail. I called David's number. Voicemail. I texted Jennifer, the maid of honor. No response. Sunday morning, I called Emily's number from Linda's phone. She answered on the second ring. Emily, it's Dad. Using Mom's phone because you're not answering mine. Silence. Emily, sweetheart, we're so sorry about yesterday. Marcus had a severe panic attack. We couldn't leave him alone. We were going to come, we were dressed and ready, but then... Stop. Emily, stop talking. I stopped. You promised, she said quietly. You looked me in the eye and promised you'd be there. We were going to be there. Something came up. Marcus had a bad day. Marcus had feelings. Marcus needed emotional support. And you chose him over me. Again. It wasn't like that. I got married yesterday. David and I stood at the altar, and when the officiant asked us to honor our parents, there was an empty row where you were supposed to sit. Do you know how that felt? Do you have any idea? We're sorry. Jennifer's mother walked me down the aisle because you weren't there. A woman I've known for 6 years stood in for my father because my actual father was at home with my 30-year-old brother who had sad feelings. Emily, that's not fair. Marcus was genuinely in crisis. I don't care. The line went dead. We tried for weeks. Called, texted, sent emails. Linda even drove to the apartment Emily and David shared, but nobody answered the door. We sent flowers. Linda wrote a long letter explaining everything, apologizing, begging Emily to let us make it up to her. No response. Around Thanksgiving, my sister called me. What did you do to Emily? She asked. What do you mean? She called me. Said she's done with you and Linda. Said you skipped her wedding for Marcus. We didn't skip it. Marcus was having a mental health crisis. Robert, she's your daughter. I know she's my daughter. But Marcus needed us in that moment. Marcus always needs you. What's that supposed to mean? My sister sighed. Nothing. Forget it. But Emily sounded serious. You might want to actually fix this. Christmas came. No word from Emily. We sent presents to her apartment. They were returned, unopened. In January, I ran into David's father at the grocery store. He saw me, turned around, and walked the other way. February brought the first real sign of how bad things had gotten. My mother, Emily's grandmother, called crying. Emily changed her name, she said. What? Legally changed it. Not just took David's last name. Changed her entire name. Her first name, middle name, everything. She's not Emily anymore. That's ridiculous. Why would she do that? She said she doesn't want to be part of our family anymore. I felt something cold settle in my chest. What's her new name? She wouldn't tell me. Said I'd find out if I needed to, but she hoped I wouldn't need to. Linda broke down when I told her. She changed her name? Our daughter changed her name? Mom says she did. We missed one day. One day. And she's erasing us from her entire life? Maybe she'll calm down eventually. Give her time. Time passed. 6 months. 8 months. No contact. Then my coworker, Janet, pulled me aside one day in the break room. Hey, I met the new guy in accounting yesterday. David Miller. Nice guy. My stomach dropped. David Miller? Yeah. He mentioned he just got married last year. I asked about his wife, and he said something weird. Said his wife's an orphan. Both her parents died when she was young. That's not, did he say her name? Sarah? No, wait. Sophia. Sophia Miller. I went home early that day, sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes before going inside. Linda could tell something was wrong immediately. What happened? I told her about David. About Emily, or Sophia, apparently, telling people we were dead. Linda's face went white. She's telling people we're dead? David works at my company. He's been there 2 weeks, according to Janet. She met him yesterday. He told her his wife is an orphan. We need to call her. We need to fix this. She won't answer. She hasn't answered in almost a year. Then we'll go to her apartment. Force her to talk to us. We did. We drove to the apartment that evening, knocked on the door for 10 minutes. A neighbor came out and told us David and Sophie had moved out 3 months ago. No forwarding address. I tried reaching out to Jennifer, the maid of honor. She responded this time. Mr. Peterson, I think it's better if you don't contact Emily anymore. She's my daughter. She doesn't want to be. She changed her name because we missed her wedding. Does that seem reasonable to you? I think there's more to it than just the wedding. What do you mean? How many of Emily's events have you actually attended? In her whole life? We went to plenty? Her high school graduation? We were there. You came an hour late because Marcus was nervous about the crowd. You missed Emily's speech because you were still in the parking lot. I didn't remember that. Or maybe I did, but differently. Her college graduation? Jennifer continued. We were there for the ceremony. You skipped the department reception because Marcus was tired. Emily won an award. They announced her name, and her parents weren't there to see it. We'd been sitting for 3 hours. She made the dean's list 7 semesters. Did you celebrate? Even once? We were proud of her. Did you tell her that? Of course we did. When? When did you tell her? I couldn't remember specific instances. I'm sure we did. We must have. Mr. Peterson, Emily has spent her whole life watching you and Mrs. Peterson drop everything for Marcus. Every time. Without fail. She learned not to need you because you weren't available. And the one day she asked, begged, for you to show up, you didn't. So yeah, she changed her name. She's building a life where she doesn't have to compete with her brother for her parents' attention anymore. A life where she doesn't have parents at all. Jennifer hung up. I told Linda what Jennifer had said. Linda got defensive. That's not true. We've always loved Emily just as much as Marcus. Jennifer listed specific events. Marcus needed us at those events. Emily understood. Did she? Did she really? She never complained. Maybe she should have. Linda's face hardened. Are you saying this is our fault? I'm saying maybe we didn't notice what was happening. What was happening? We were taking care of our son who has documented mental health issues. Were we supposed to ignore him? No, but what, Robert? Tell me what we should have done differently. Marcus needed professional help. He needed support. He needed his parents. Were we supposed to let him suffer so we could attend every single one of Emily's activities? She's right that we missed a lot. We didn't miss a lot. We missed some things. A few things. And we always had valid reasons. We argued for hours. Got nowhere. Marcus found out what happened eventually. He came downstairs one evening, 3 weeks after Janet's revelation about David working at my company. Emily changed her name? He asked. How did you know that? Linda asked. I still follow her on Instagram. She posted something about new beginnings and her new name. Sophia. She's going by Sophia now. She blocked us on everything, I said. How are you still following her? I follow her from a photography account I made years ago. She probably doesn't realize it's me. The username doesn't have my name in it. Can you see what she's posting? Linda asked. Marcus hesitated. Yeah. Show us. He pulled out his phone, opened the app, navigated to Emily's, Sophia's, profile. The photos were carefully curated. Her and David at restaurants. Her and David hiking. Her at what looked like a work event. No family photos. No pictures from her childhood. Nothing that connected her to her past. One post from 2 months ago caught my eye. A photo of her and David at a beach, sunset behind them. The caption read, "Built a family from scratch with this man. No inheritance, no baggage, no history. Just us and the future we're creating together." Linda started crying. Marcus put his phone away. This is my fault. No, Linda said. No, sweetheart, this isn't your fault. I had a panic attack. You stayed home because of me. If I just... Stop, I said. You were in crisis. We made the choice we thought was right. But it wasn't right. I ruined Emily's wedding. I ruined your relationship with her. You didn't ruin anything, Linda insisted. Emily is overreacting. She'll realize that eventually and come back. Marcus looked at her with an expression I'd never seen on his face before. Something like pity. No, she won't, he said. And she shouldn't. He went back upstairs. Another 6 months passed. David had settled into his job at my company. I saw him occasionally in the cafeteria or hallways. He never acknowledged me. Looked right through me like I didn't exist. My mother passed away in September. Small stroke, went quickly. At the funeral, I kept watching the entrance, hoping Emily would show up. She didn't. After the service, my sister pulled me aside. Emily sent flowers. Had them delivered to the funeral home this morning. She came? No. Just flowers. The card said for Grandma, with love. That's all. Did she sign it Emily or Sophia? She signed it Sophia. The wake was at our house. People milled around, offering condolences, sharing memories of my mother. I was in the kitchen when David walked in. I froze. He saw me, started to turn around, then seemed to change his mind. Mr. Peterson. David. I didn't think you'd come. I'm here for your mother. She was always kind to me. Thank you for coming. He nodded, started to leave. David, wait. How is she? How's Emily? Her name is Sophia. I know, but you don't get to ask about her. She's my daughter. No, David said calmly. She's not. Not anymore. You gave up that right when you chose not to show up to our wedding. We didn't choose. Marcus was having a crisis. Marcus has been having a crisis for 30 years. And for 30 years, you and Mrs. Peterson have chosen him. Every single time. You chose him over your daughter's graduation. Over her awards. Over her achievements. Over her wedding, you chose him. And now she's choosing herself. She's choosing a life where she doesn't wait for parents who never show up. That's not fair? Fair? David's voice rose slightly. People in the next room went quiet. You want to talk about fair? Let me tell you what happened at our wedding. Jennifer's mother, a woman Emily had known for 6 years, walked her down the aisle. Do you know what Emily said to me that night? After all the guests left and we were alone? She said I knew they wouldn't come. I knew it. But I hoped. I actually let myself hope. She cried for hours. On our wedding night. Because her parents who promised they'd be there, chose her brother's bad day over her wedding. He was having a panic attack. I have panic attacks. David's voice echoed through the house now. Everyone was definitely listening. I've had them since I was 16. I manage them. I go to therapy. I take medication. I do the work. And sometimes I still have bad days. But I don't let my bad days destroy other people's important moments. Marcus is 32 years old. He's an adult. He should have been managing his own crisis, or called his therapist, or called a crisis hotline. You and Mrs. Peterson aren't therapists. You're parents. And you had another child who needed you that day. Linda appeared in the doorway. How dare you come into our home and... Sophia doesn't know I'm here, David interrupted. If she did, she'd be angry. She's moved on. She's built a life without you. She's happy. And I'm here to make sure you understand that you don't get to disrupt that. You made your choices. She's made hers. Leave her alone. He walked out. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then people slowly started talking again, pretending they hadn't heard. But they had. They'd all heard. My sister approached me. Robert, is what he said true? It's more complicated than, yes or no. Did you miss Emily's wedding for Marcus? Marcus was having a mental health crisis. That's not what I asked. I didn't answer. She shook her head. You always did this. Even when they were kids. Emily could have been bleeding, and if Marcus had a stomachache, you'd focus on Marcus. That's not true. It is true. Mom used to talk about it. How worried she was about Emily. How Emily learned to never ask for help because she knew Marcus would always need you more. Emily never said she felt that way. Of course she didn't. She learned early that saying something wouldn't change anything. So she stopped saying things. She stopped asking. She stopped expecting. And apparently, she finally stopped being your daughter. My sister walked away. The months after that were difficult. Linda and I barely spoke. When we did, we argued. She maintained we'd done nothing wrong, that Emily was being dramatic, that she'd eventually realize she was overreacting. I wasn't so sure anymore. I started going through old photos. Emily's childhood. Her teenage years. College. Looking for evidence that we'd been good parents to her. And I found photos, hundreds of them. But something Jennifer said kept echoing in my head. Did you celebrate? Even once? There were photos of Emily at her events, plays, track meets, award ceremonies. But in most of them, she was alone. Or with friends. Linda and I appeared in very few. There were dozens of photos of Marcus at his therapy appointments, Marcus at his doctor visits, Marcus at the hospital the time he had to be admitted for 3 days. Family photos where we all looked tired, strained. I found Emily's high school yearbook. Flipped through it. She'd been on student council. I'd forgotten that. She'd been in National Honor Society. I'd remembered that, vaguely. She'd won something called the Principal's Award for Academic Excellence. I didn't remember that at all. I called the high school, asked what the Principal's Award was. Oh, that's our highest honor, the secretary told me. It's given to one senior each year. The student who best exemplifies academic achievement, leadership, and character. It's a big deal. We usually have a special ceremony for it. When was the ceremony the year my daughter won? 2013? Let me check. Looks like it was May 10th, 2013. Evening ceremony, 6 o'clock. May 10th, 2013. I checked the family calendar from that year, which Linda had saved in a box in the attic. May 10th, Marcus therapy appointment, new therapist consultation, 5:30. We'd skipped Emily's award ceremony for Marcus's first appointment with a new therapist. An appointment that could have been rescheduled. I found more. Emily's college acceptance letter, she'd gotten into 3 schools, all with scholarships. I remembered her telling us. I remembered saying that's great, honey, and then immediately pivoting to a conversation about whether Marcus should try a new medication. Her Dean's List certificates, Jennifer was right, 7 semesters. They were in a folder in Emily's old room, tucked in the back of her desk drawer. Like she'd hidden them away because there was no point in showing anyone. A journal from her sophomore year of high school. I shouldn't have read it, but I did. January 8th, made the varsity track team. Coach says I have a real shot at state. Told Mom and Dad at dinner. Dad said that's nice and then spent 20 minutes talking to Marcus about his new job at the coffee shop. I don't think he heard me. March 15th, track sectionals tomorrow. I'm running the 800. Coach thinks I could break the school record. Asked Mom if she and Dad could come. She said they'd try, but Marcus has been having a rough week, so they might need to stay home with him. I told her it was fine. It's always fine. March 16th, broke the school record. 2 minutes 15.3 seconds. Missed it by myself though. Mom and Dad didn't come. Marcus had an anxiety attack in the morning. I get it. I do. But it would have been nice if they'd been there. Just once. May 22nd, graduation next week. Mom asked if I wanted them to throw me a party. I said no. What's the point? Marcus doesn't like crowds, so it would either be tiny or they'd spend the whole time managing his anxiety. Easier to just skip it. There were more entries. Pages and pages of my daughter learning that her achievements didn't matter as much as her brother's struggles. Learning that needing things made her a burden. Learning that love was a finite resource, and Marcus needed all of it. I showed Linda the journal. She read it, face pale, hands shaking. She never told us she felt this way, Linda whispered. She did. We didn't listen. She always said she understood about Marcus. What else could she say? We weren't giving her a choice. We were telling her that Marcus's needs came first, and she could either understand or be unsupported. Linda set the journal down. So what do we do? I don't know. We sat in silence. Maybe David's right, I finally said. Maybe we should leave her alone. Let her be happy. She's our daughter. She was our daughter. She's Sophia now. And Sophia doesn't have parents. Linda started crying. Not the angry crying from before. Something deeper. Grief, maybe. Morning. Marcus came home from work an hour later. Found us in the kitchen, Linda still crying, me staring at Emily's journal. What's wrong? He asked. I showed him the journal. He read a few pages, face crumbling with each entry. Oh, he said softly. Oh no. Did you know? I asked. Did you know she felt this way? I knew you guys focused on me a lot. I knew Emily did things on her own. But I didn't realize. He trailed off. I should have realized. This isn't your fault, Linda said automatically. Mom, stop. It is my fault. Partially. I'm an adult. I've been an adult for over a decade. And I've let you both treat me like a child who can't function without constant supervision. I have anxiety and depression. Millions of people do. They manage. I should have been managing. We were helping you. You were enabling me. There's a difference. He sat down at the table. I had a panic attack the day of Emily's wedding. A bad one. But you know what? I've had hundreds of panic attacks. They're awful. They feel like dying. But they pass. They always pass. And you know what I should have done that day? I should have told you both to go to the wedding. I should have called a crisis line or texted my online support group or just ridden it out alone. Because it was Emily's wedding. And that was more important than my panic attack. We couldn't leave you. Yes, you could have. I'm 32. If I can't handle being alone during a panic attack, then I need more intensive treatment. But that's my problem to solve. Not yours. And definitely not Emily's. He stood up. I'm moving out, he said. I should have moved out years ago. I'm getting my own apartment. I'm going to find a new therapist and actually do the work instead of depending on you both to manage my emotions for me. And maybe, if Emily ever decides to talk to any of us again, I'll apologize to her. Really apologize. But I don't think she will. I think we lost her. He went upstairs to pack. Linda and I sat in the kitchen for hours. At some point, she said, we thought we were being good parents. We were being good parents to one child. We forgot about the other one. I love her just as much as Marcus. I know. But she doesn't. And maybe that's what matters. 3 months later, Marcus moved into his own apartment across town. He started seeing a new therapist, joined a support group, began managing his own life. Linda and I adjusted to being empty nesters in the strangest way, not because our kids grew up and moved out naturally, but because we'd driven one away and the other finally established boundaries. I still see David sometimes at work. He doesn't acknowledge me. I don't approach him. I think about Emily, Sophia, often. Wonder what she's doing. Whether she's happy. Whether she thinks about us at all, or if she's truly moved on completely. My coworker Janet mentioned recently that she'd met David's wife at a company event. Lovely woman, she said. So sad about her parents dying when she was young, though. She told me she was raised by her grandmother. Her grandmother helped raise her, I said quietly. What? Nothing. Never mind. I looked David up on the company directory once, found his work email. Typed out a message, tell her we're sorry. Tell her we love her. Tell her we understand if she never wants to see us again, but we're sorry. I stared at it for 20 minutes. Then I deleted it. Because David was right. We made our choices. Emily, Sophia, made hers. And maybe the most loving thing we can do now is let her live the life she's built. A life where she doesn't have to compete for attention. Where she doesn't have to understand why her brother's bad day matters more than her achievements. Where she doesn't have parents who promised to show up and then didn't. Linda asked me last week if I thought Emily would ever forgive us. I don't know, I said. But I don't think that's the question we should be asking. What should we be asking? Whether we deserve forgiveness. We haven't answered that question yet. I don't know if we ever will. People at work know something happened with my family. They've stopped asking about my daughter. When conversations turn to children, I stay quiet. Sometimes I catch people looking at me with pity, or judgment, or both. My sister doesn't talk to me much anymore. She tried for a while to mediate, to convince Emily to give us another chance, but Emily apparently told her, they had 30 years to choose me. They chose Marcus every time. I'm done waiting for my turn. The thing that haunts me most isn't the wedding. It's all the small moments I'm suddenly remembering. Emily showing me a painting she'd done in 4th grade, and me nodding absently while listening to Marcus talk about a kid who'd been mean to him at school. Emily asking if we could watch her in a school play, and us saying yes but then leaving at intermission because Marcus was bored. Emily calling from college, excited about making a new friend, and me cutting the conversation short because Marcus was having a bad day and I needed to call him. Death by 1,000 cuts. That's what we did. We bled her out slowly, one missed moment at a time, until there was nothing left of her that belonged to us. And the worst part? We thought we were doing the right thing. We genuinely believed we were being good parents, taking care of the child who needed us most. We never stopped to think about what it meant that one child learned they could never need us at all. Marcus sent Emily a letter last month. Long, handwritten, taking full responsibility for his role in what happened. Apologizing for depending on our parents so much, for not recognizing how his struggles affected her, for the wedding. He sent it to her old address, hoping it would be forwarded. It came back marked returned to sender, no forwarding address. She's gone. Really, truly gone. She's erased us from her life so completely that even letters can't reach her. Linda keeps Emily's room exactly as she left it. Goes in there sometimes and just sits. I asked her once what she's thinking about when she's in there. All the conversations we never had, she said. All the times I could have asked how she was really doing, what she really needed, whether she felt loved. And I didn't. I just assumed she was fine because she said she was fine. Because it was easier than dealing with 2 children who needed attention. I found a box of Emily's things last month while cleaning the garage. Elementary school artwork, middle school projects, high school awards. All of it carefully saved by Emily herself, stored away like she knew we wouldn't keep it. There was a Mother's Day card from when she was 7. It said, "Dear Mom, thank you for being the best mom. I love you even when you have to take care of Marcus. Love, Emily." Even at 7, she was reassuring us that it was okay to prioritize her brother. What kind of 7-year-old has to do that? We failed her. That's the truth. We can dress it up with explanations about Marcus's mental health, about doing our best, about not meaning to hurt her. But the bottom line is we failed her. We taught her that her value was in her independence, in not needing anything, in understanding when she got pushed aside. We taught her that love was conditional on not making waves. And she learned. She learned so well that she eventually understood she didn't need parents who taught those lessons. I don't blame her. I can't. She's protecting herself from people who hurt her, even if they didn't mean to. Even if they loved her. Sometimes love isn't enough, especially when it's constantly overshadowed by someone else's needs. David got promoted last month. Vice President of Engineering. There was a celebration in the office. I watched from a distance as people congratulated him. He smiled, thanked everyone, and when someone asked about his wife, he said, "She's amazing. I'm lucky to have her." He didn't mention her name. Didn't mention her family. Didn't mention anything that would connect her to me. I wanted to walk over, wanted to congratulate him, wanted to ask if there was any chance, any at all, of reconciliation. But I didn't. Because he'd asked me to leave her alone. And maybe, finally, I can do what Emily needs me to do. Even if what she needs is my absence. That's the revenge, I suppose. Not dramatic confrontation or public shaming. Just absence. The permanent, irreversible absence of a daughter who decided her parents weren't worth keeping. Who looked at her life and decided it would be better, cleaner, healthier, happier, without us in it. She was probably right. Linda and I are seeing a therapist now. Trying to work through what happened, how we got here, whether we can forgive ourselves even if Emily never forgives us. The therapist asked me in our last session what I would say to Emily if I could. I thought about it for a long time. I'd tell her I'm proud of her, I finally said. For every award we didn't celebrate, every achievement we overlooked, every moment she succeeded without us. I'd tell her I'm proud that she built a life without us, because we clearly didn't give her much to build on. I'd tell her I'm sorry. Not just for the wedding, but for every single time we chose Marcus's struggles over her successes. For teaching her that she had to be perfect and independent because we didn't have room for her needs. For making her feel like she had to compete with her brother's mental illness for basic parental attention. And I'd tell her that I understand why she left. I'd tell her that she deserves parents who show up, and if she's found family elsewhere, with David, with friends, with whoever she's built her life with, then I'm glad. Because she deserves people who choose her. Do you think you'll ever get to tell her that? The therapist asked. No, I said. And maybe that's fair. Marcus is doing well in his new apartment. He's been managing his anxiety better, holding down his job, even started dating someone new. He's becoming the adult he should have been years ago. I'm proud of him, but there's also this lingering sadness because his growth came at the cost of his sister's presence in our lives. He asked me last week if I thought Emily was happy. I hope so, I said. I really hope so. Me too, he said quietly. She deserves to be happy. Away from us. That might be the saddest truth of all. That my daughter deserves happiness, and the price of that happiness is never seeing her family again. The company holiday party is next month. David will be there. I've already decided I'm not going. Linda asked why, and I told her the truth, because David will be there, and possibly Emily, and I don't want to ruin her night. Again. Linda didn't argue. Sometimes I imagine what I'd say if I ran into Emily, Sophia, somewhere. A restaurant, a store, the street. Would she acknowledge me? Walk past? Would I have the courage to say something, or would I stay silent and let her go? I'd like to think I'd be brave enough to say I'm sorry. To tell her everything I've realized too late. But honestly, I'd probably just watch her go. Because that's what I've always done. Watched her go to her track meets alone, to her award ceremonies alone, to her graduation alone, to her wedding alone. At least now I understand that's what I was doing. It doesn't make it better. But I understand. And maybe that's all I'm going to get. Understanding, too late to matter. Regret, too deep to fix. Love, too buried under years of neglect to mean anything anymore. We made our choices. Marcus's needs always came first. We told ourselves we were being good parents, taking care of a struggling child. We never saw that we were also abandoning another child. The one who struggled silently because she learned early that struggling out loud wouldn't help. Emily became Sophia. Our daughter became an orphan. And we became parents who lost a child, not to tragedy or distance, but to our own repeated failures. People at work still think we're monsters. Maybe we are. Not because we missed a wedding, but because we missed a lifetime of moments that told our daughter she didn't matter as much as her brother. And when she finally had the courage to ask us to show up, just once, just for one day, we didn't. So yes, she changed her name. She tells people we're dead. Her husband looks through us like we're ghosts. And from where I'm standing now, I can finally see what everyone else saw all along. We earned every bit of it. The breaking point came 6 months after the holiday party I didn't attend. I was at the office, finishing up a report, when Janet stopped by my desk. Can I ask you something personal? She said, her voice low. Sure. David's wife, Sophia. She's pregnant. The words hit me like a physical blow. I gripped the edge of my desk. When? He announced it this morning. She's about 4 months along. Due in March. A grandchild. Emily was having a baby, and I'd learned about it from a coworker. Not from her. Not from David. From office gossip. I went home early. Told Linda. She sat down on the couch and didn't move for 20 minutes. We're going to be grandparents, she finally said. No, we're not. David and Sophia are going to be parents. We're just two people who used to know Sophia before she became Sophia. That's our grandchild. Linda, we don't get to claim that. We gave up that right. She looked at me with something like anger. You've given up. I haven't. That's our daughter carrying our grandchild, and I'm not going to let her cut us out of this. You don't have a choice. She's already cut us out. Then I'll fight to get back in. I shook my head. You'll make it worse. How could it possibly be worse? She found out 2 weeks later. Linda sent a gift to David's office, a package of baby clothes, blankets, a stuffed animal. Included a card that said, "Congratulations on the baby. We're so happy for you both. Love, Mom, and Dad." David returned it the next day. Handed it to me directly in the hallway. Don't do this, he said quietly. My wife just wanted to. I know what she wanted. The answer is no. Sophia doesn't want contact. This kind of thing upsets her. Please respect that. It's a gift for the baby. The baby doesn't need anything from you. We're fine. We have everything we need. David, please. Can we meet? Talk? Work something out? There's nothing to work out. You made your choices. She's made hers. This is over. He walked away, taking the package with him. Linda was furious when I told her. How dare he keep our grandchild from us? He's protecting his wife. From us. Because we hurt her. We didn't hurt her. We missed one event. Stop. I'd never raised my voice at Linda like that before. Just stop. Read Emily's journal again. Look at the pattern. We hurt her for years. The wedding was just the final straw. And now she's having a baby, and she doesn't want us anywhere near it, and I don't blame her. I blame her. She's being vindictive and cruel. She's being self-protective. There's a difference. We barely spoke for days after that. Marcus came over for dinner one evening in February. He'd been doing that once a week, checking in on us, making sure we were okay. Roles reversed, in a way. Did you hear about Emily? Linda asked him immediately. About the baby? Yeah. I saw it on her Instagram. You're still following her? Yeah. She still hasn't figured out that photography account is mine. What does she post? Linda asked, leaning forward. Hungry for information. Marcus hesitated. Just life stuff. Her and David. Work things. Recently, some pregnancy updates. She looks happy, Mom. Really happy. Show me. He pulled out his phone reluctantly, opened the app. Showed us photos of Emily, Sophia, with a visible baby bump, glowing, smiling, David's arm around her. One photo from a week ago showed her at what looked like a baby shower. Surrounded by friends, including Jennifer. The caption read, "Grateful for the family I've chosen." The family she'd chosen. Not the family she was born into. Linda started crying. Marcus put his phone away. I'm going to try one more time, Linda said. I'm going to write her a letter. A real one. Explaining everything. Apologizing. Begging her to let us meet our grandchild. Mom. She's my daughter. That's my grandchild. I have to try. Marcus looked at me. I shrugged. What could I say? Linda needed to process this her own way. She spent 3 days on that letter. I didn't read it, but she told me the gist, how sorry she was, how much she loved Emily, how they'd made mistakes but wanted to fix them, how they wanted to be part of the baby's life. She sent it to the company, addressed to David, asking him to please pass it to Sophia. 2 weeks later, we got a response. Not from David or Emily. From a lawyer. The letter was formal, cold. It stated that Sophia Miller had no desire for contact with Robert and Linda Peterson. Any further attempts to contact her, her husband, or their child would be considered harassment and would result in legal action. This included gifts, letters, phone calls, emails, social media contact, or approaching them in person. We were to cease all communication immediately. Linda read it 3 times, face pale, hands trembling. She got a lawyer, she whispered. Our daughter got a lawyer to keep us away from her. Can you blame her? She looked at me with such hurt in her eyes. Yes. Yes, I can blame her. We're not monsters. We made mistakes, but we loved her. We always loved her. But we loved Marcus more. In every way that mattered. That's not true. Linda, it is true. And until you can admit that, you'll never understand why Emily did what she did. She folded the letter carefully, put it back in the envelope. I think I need some time alone. She went to stay with her sister for a week. I knew they'd talk about us, about Emily, about everything. When Linda came back, she seemed different. Quieter. Resigned, maybe. Carol helped me see some things, she said. About how we treated Emily. About the patterns. She remembers things I'd forgotten. Or maybe things I'd chosen not to remember. Like what? Like Emily's 16th birthday. We canceled her party the day before because Marcus was having a rough week. Emily said it was fine. But Carol said she ran into Emily at the mall that day, and Emily was crying. When Carol asked what was wrong, Emily said nothing and walked away. Carol called me that night, said maybe we should still do something for Emily's birthday. I told her Emily understood about Marcus, that she was fine. But she wasn't fine. She was 16 and crying in the mall because her parents had canceled her birthday party. Linda sat down heavily. How many times did we do that? How many times did someone try to tell us Emily was struggling, and we just didn't listen? A lot, I said quietly. We did it a lot. I can't fix this, can I? No. She's really gone. Yes. We sat in silence for a long time. The baby was born in March. Marcus told us, he'd seen the announcement on Instagram. A girl. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Name, Claire Elizabeth Miller. No mention of grandparents. No mention of Emily's family. Just, David and Sophia are thrilled to announce the arrival of their daughter. Linda cried for 3 days straight. I looked up the name Claire. It means bright, clear. Elizabeth means pledge to God. Together, clear abundance. A fresh start. A name with no history, no baggage, no connection to us. Even the baby's name was chosen to exclude us. Marcus struggled with it too. She's my niece, he said. I'm an uncle, and I'll never meet her. Never hold her. Never be part of her life. That's the consequence, I said. For all of us. It's not fair to you and Mom. You're not the ones who had the panic attack. We're the ones who chose to stay home. That's on us. He didn't argue. Work became increasingly uncomfortable. People knew David had a baby. People congratulated him. I stayed at my desk, avoiding the cafeteria, avoiding anywhere I might see celebrations I wasn't part of. Janet approached me one afternoon. "Did you know David's wife had the baby?" "I heard. He's bringing her by the office next week. Sophia. He wants to introduce her to everyone." My stomach dropped. "He's bringing her here?" "Yeah. He's really proud. Wants to show off his family." I took the day off. Called in sick. Couldn't face the possibility of seeing Emily walk through the office, baby in her arms, introducing herself as Sophia to people who worked 20 feet from her father. Linda asked me that night if I was okay. "She's bringing the baby to my office. David scheduled it." I took the day off. "You're hiding from our daughter?" "I'm respecting her boundaries. She doesn't want to see us. I'm making sure she doesn't have to." "This is ridiculous." "She's being ridiculous." "No, Linda. We were ridiculous. For years. She's being healthy." The report came back through Janet, who still didn't know the connection. "David's wife is lovely. So down to earth. The baby is precious. They seem really happy." "That's good," I managed. Sophia was telling us about her background. She grew up with her grandmother after her parents passed away. "Must have been hard." "Yeah. Must have been." Janet continued, oblivious. "But she said her grandmother taught her that family is what you make it, not just what you're born into." I thought that was beautiful. Our mother, Emily's grandmother, had taught her that. Before she died, before Emily stopped speaking to all of us. A final gift from a woman who'd loved Emily but couldn't fix the damage we'd done. I excused myself, went to the bathroom, and stood in a stall for 10 minutes trying to breathe. That evening, I did something I hadn't done before. I created a fake Instagram account. Not to contact Emily. Just to see. To know. I found her profile. Sophia Miller. The photos were public. I scrolled through months of images. Her life, laid out in careful squares. There she was, pregnant and glowing. There was the baby shower, surrounded by friends. There was the hospital photo, her holding Claire, David beside her, both of them exhausted and ecstatic. There were the first days home, Claire sleeping in a bassinet decorated with moons and stars. One photo caught my attention. Emily, Sophia, sitting in a rocking chair, holding Claire, looking down at her daughter with such pure love. The caption, "My whole world. Everything I am, everything I do, is for you. You'll always come first. Always." I read it 3 times. Always come first. That's what we'd never given her. That's what she'd never had. And now she was promising it to her daughter. Breaking the cycle we'd created. I showed Linda. She read it, then quietly closed her eyes. "She's a better mother than I was," Linda whispered. "Yeah," I agreed. "She is. We'd created this. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but through 1,000 small choices that added up to one clear message: you matter less." And Emily had learned that lesson so thoroughly that the only solution was to remove us entirely from her life. Marcus came over the following week. He'd been offered a promotion at work, management position, significant raise. He was excited, proud of himself. "That's wonderful," Linda said, hugging him. "Thanks. It's funny, though. The interview process made me realize how much I've changed in the past 2 years. How much more confident I am. More capable." "You've always been capable," Linda said automatically. "No, Mom. I haven't. I was capable of falling apart and letting you both catch me. That's different from being capable of standing on my own." He paused. Losing Emily was the worst thing that happened to this family. But for me, personally, it was also a wake-up call. I had to change. I had to grow up. I wish it hadn't taken that for me to get here, but it did. "You're not responsible for. I'm responsible for my part. We all are. You and Dad enabled me. I let you. Emily suffered. And now she's gone. We all contributed to that." He left an hour later. Linda and I sat in the living room, the silence heavy. "Do you think we'll ever see her again?" Linda asked. "No. Not even by accident? She'll make sure of it. She's careful. Strategic. She always has been." When did we stop knowing our own daughter? I don't think we ever really knew her. We knew the version of her that accommodated us. The one who said she understood, who didn't make waves, who handled everything alone. But the real Emily? The one who needed things, who hurt, who wanted her parents to show up. We never met her. She learned not to show us that side. Linda started crying again. I didn't try to comfort her. Sometimes pain is meant to be felt, not soothed away. The truth settled over us like a heavy blanket. We would never meet Claire. We would never see Emily again. We would age and die as the parents who lost their daughter because they couldn't balance 2 children's needs. The parents who chose wrong, again and again, until there were no more chances left. That's our legacy. That's what we built with our good intentions and our constant prioritization of Marcus's struggles over Emily's successes. We wanted to be good parents. We tried to be good parents. But somewhere along the way, in trying to save one child, we lost the other. And she isn't coming back.